Y'all let me know if we're coming in low. I mean, we should be good now. We should be very good now. Everything should be straight now. So when I talk about these things, man, you have to understand that. Just ask yourself, how many things have you gotten a slap on the wrist for that others have been severely punished for? How many things have you gotten away with that other guys have been in prison for? How many things have you gotten away with that other men have lost their lives for? How many things have you gotten away with that other men are paralyzed for? That other men are brain dead for? That other men are broke and homeless for? That other men have lost all their friends and family support for? That other men have lost themselves for? So how can you deny the mercy of God, knowing that you have done some of those things and therefore deserve the same punishment? If 10 men have been punished for something and you're the 11th man, guess what? You deserve that same punishment. You didn't get that punishment only due to the mercy of God. Nothing else. The bottom line is this: we continue to have our struggles as men in this world, in this life. None of us is ever going to be perfect. We are always going to be men who have obstacles to overcome when it comes to our spiritual awareness and protecting our own spirit. That is why we need the protection of God. Like my brother SJ just said, we need the protection of God in our lives. We can't protect ourselves. Man, we're human. We're running around here right now wearing masks and stuff because of a version of the flu. And the crazy thing is, the regular flu can kill it. We're humans. There's a spider that can bite you and kill you. Plenty of snakes that can strike you and kill you. We can't even go into parts of the ocean because the animals out there think we're food. We don't have the level of strength necessary to protect ourselves in this world. You can have all the weapons in the world, but guess what? You only got two hands. You can only shoot two guns at one time. You can't beat any army with your two guns. How many seemingly overwhelming struggles have some of your other actions caused you? How many times in your life have you thought about giving up? How many times have you given up? How many people do you know who've given up and made the ultimate sacrifice of their own lives? This is a wicked world that we live in. And it takes everything in you to not be caught up in the temptation of that world. Because everyone's having fun. Everyone's feeling good. Everyone's living well. Everyone's enjoying their party. They're drinking. They're smoking. They're going everywhere. They're having this ball. Every time you turn around, everybody's just having a blast in this world. And you got some people come in and tell you, man, there ain't no God. There ain't no big fantasy man in the sky. What God? We're God. You're God. I'm God. We're all God. They'll tell you whatever they want to tell you. But that's only because they haven't faced those obstacles that we have. See, let me tell you something, the difference between us and everyone else. And this isn't to say that we're not human and we don't have our issues. This is to say that some of us are chosen by God to live a certain way. We can't worry about those who aren't chosen because they're never going to live this way. They're never going to buy into the process of trying to live this type of spiritually astute life because it's not their calling. There are some guys who are murderers. That's their calling, to be a murderer. Satan is their father. But here's the thing. We grew up with those guys. Some of those guys were our friends. So even though we may not have been around them when they did any murders, or we may have, we may not have participated, but their energy, the evil of that energy was still there. Jessica Caldwell Enos, appreciate the $5 super chat. Glad I was finally able to catch it live. Glad to have you in here as well. All praises to the Most High. Dre Smith, appreciate $3 super chat. All right. So when we think about the fact that we walk a different path, what happens when you walk a different path? What happens when you walk the path less traveled? What happens when you go the opposite way that everyone else is going? You're going to have some time alone on your path. You're going to be alone on your path until you run into someone else who's alone on their path. See, we all meet up and congregate at the strategic times that God knows we need someone. When God knows we need someone on our journey, we meet other people who need someone on their journey, because we're all on this journey alone. You have to compromise your own friendships, your own family relationships, your own money-making schemes, your own lifestyle in order to live a lifestyle that's pleasing to God. And you owe him that because of the mercy he's shown you in your life. See, the punishment scale of God is real. I tell people all the time, I've told people things, and when they didn't follow them, see, they didn't follow them because they never been punished for them. People eat all kinds of things because they never been punished for it in a way that they can recognize. See, if you eat crap, then you used to just feeling sick. You used to having upset stomach. You used to having diarrhea. You used to being constipated. You used to having headaches out the blue. You used to having belly aches out the blue. You used to having, feeling like you about to burn up inside you. You used to having heartburn. You used to having all these things. Because you've been poisoning yourself forever. But here's the thing. Once you know, it doesn't matter if you believe it. Once you know, God expects you to start making adjustments in your life. And at that point, that's when the punishment starts. When you think about the laws and statutes and commandments that God gave the children of Israel, those laws weren't there before Moses. So the righteous men were pointed out. Abraham, Lot, those righteous men were pointed out. Why were they pointed out? Because those were the men who were chosen by God, the same way we're chosen. The same way we're chosen to live the life that we're living. Now you look at Abraham, and you look at Lot, and look at all the other people. Lot was in a land full of sinners. He's the only man who escaped that land. So when I talk to you about being alone on your path, that's real. It's been shown over time. You're alone on your path. The path of Moses. Moses was alone on his path. The majority of the time he spent one-on-one with God. Yes, he was still the leader of the children of Israel. He was the liaison from God to the children of Israel. But guess what? He spent the majority of his time away from the people. And no, I don't profess to be Moses, but God has structured my life where I spend the majority of my time away from the people. See, guys will guilt trip you about your lifestyle because your lifestyle doesn't bear those rotten fruits that their lifestyle bears. Man, you don't never want to go out. You don't never want to go out. Thou come in, man, we be out here, man, getting these women. You can have those women. There's a thin line between a Jezebel and a woman who's worthy of being in a wife position. And a woman who's close to me can only be worthy of being in a wife position because I am a king. So she must have a queen mindset. Man, you spoil all the fun, man. Man, you blah, blah. Man, you don't drink that, man. You don't smoke that, man. Man, I'm telling you, bro. Man, you gotta. Okay, cool. We ain't gonna fall out, but what I know is this, that what you guys do, I don't do it, so guess what? We don't hang no more. Because when I hang out, I do other things. There are two kinds of people in the world. There are people who do things that are productive, and there are people who do things that are destructive. When you think about the mercy of God in your life, you have to do things that are productive. You owe it to, we ain't even talking about what you owe yourself, you owe it to God. You only got one life to live. How are you going to live it? You do something one time, okay, you might get a slap on the wrist. You do it the second time, you might get your wrist twisted. Do it third time, you might get a finger popped out of the socket. You do it the fourth time, you might lose the whole arm. You do it the fifth time, you might die. Because the bottom line is, the same way God is merciful. When you invoke his wrath, oh, the punishment is coming, brothers. The punishment is coming. The punishment is coming. Bro, you know good and well when I say law, man, you know I'm talking about the statutes and commandments, man. Like, we can't just try to be contrary for the sake of being contrary. Like, we just can't do that. I expressly said the statutes and commandments that God gave the children of Israel were not around. Those laws and statutes and commandments were not around before Moses. So you can't just be contrary, bro, for the, just for the sake of being contrary. Just say, yeah, there was law. I didn't say law. I said law, statutes, commandments that God gave the children of Israel. Like, we can't just do that, man, just for the sake of, wanting to seem right. And this isn't just you. I have to check myself about that. Sometimes I'll do that. Pull some out just to try to seem right and just take what was said out of context. So we have to make sure that as men, we don't do that. As men of God, we don't do that. Man, let me tell y'all, man, and this is real talk. Man, I've done a bunch of things in my life, brothers. Bunch of things. I've poisoned my people for profit. Bunch of profit. I'm talking about tens of thousands of dollars. Honestly, bro, even more than hundreds of thousands of dollars, man. I've literally poisoned my people. I've seen the damage that was happening to these children because I was poisoning their parents. And someone can say, well, they were going to get it anyway. That's cool. Everybody's going to get their sin some kind of way. Everybody's going to get their poison some kind of way. Does that mean I have to do it? No, it doesn't. Now, granted, this was all before God called me out of the streets into the Lord and into the vow of Nazarite. But before he called me out of it, I was, man, listen, bro, I was changing lives. I was killing futures, man. And honestly, man, the when I go to my hometown, man, some of those children, man, are out there now. They turned out to be nothing more than they could be because of what I helped their parents become. Now, I could have been talking the same talk to their parents, but I just wasn't prepared to do it yet. And I think the reason is I always have to look back on my life and think of the things that I've done and think of the mercy that God has shown me. Have I faced prison time? Yes. That wasn't God's plan for me. But by the same token, after facing my time and getting that, I won't call it a slap on the wrist because it cost me a lot of money and a lot of years on papers. But what happened is I stopped. I changed. I went the other way because I knew where I was supposed to go. Man, the thing worked out so smoothly, brothers. I was in a courtroom, the meanest judge, the meanest. I mean, this guy he was mean. Judge Pearson, mean. I'm literally a legend in the courtrooms of Birmingham. He hated drug dealers. Like if you came into his courtroom for anything narcotics related, trafficking, possession with intent to distribute, man, listen, he was gonna throw the max at you. You weren't gonna have no choice but to get the max. You gonna listen, bro. You were gonna get the max. It wasn't no pleading down. You weren't gonna be able to plea down. There was no plea deal. He was not gonna let it come across his bench. It wasn't gonna happen. And it just so happened, man, that the way God maneuvered it, we was able to push it back. But we just kept pushing it back because that's just a preliminary. That's just what you do. You push it back as far as you can because you know you about to look at some time. He retired. I'll never forget it, man. He retired in December. And my court date was in January. He retired. That was his last year. My court date was in January. Moved right over to another judge. Now my lawyer, of course, my lawyer was a judge too, but so my lawyer and this judge were partners. See what I'm saying? And so I was able to come out of there without any time. Now I did have to pay a huge fine, and stay and keep my nose clean or risk going to get that time for some years. But it just worked out like that because that wasn't God's plan for me. You know what I'm saying? Man, I ran the street, man, shooting pistols and doing all kind of things, man. Having shootouts and, man, I mean, cracking people's skulls, man, with pistols and everything, bro. I've done some things. So a lot of times when guys talk about, man, my reputation in the streets and all that, man, I'm like, bro, I'm trying to push myself so far away from that. I live in a world now where my reputation in the streets or what I did, man, would damage everything that I'm doing right now. You understand what I'm saying? Well, it could have. Now it can't. But it could have if I had brought that reputation with me. If I had brought that ideology with me. I mean, my past can't do nothing to me. I mean, it is what it is. But if I had that same mentality and brought it into my life now, I wouldn't be in the life I'm in now. It would have kept me stuck in that. But I knew I had to come out of there because I had to respect the mercy of God, man. I had to respect the fact that I was supposed to be behind the wall, but I wasn't. I've slept with men's wives, man. Man, I've committed adultery so many times, bro, I can't even count, just to be honest with you. And this is me just bearing my soul to y'all, man. Man, I probably committed adultery, man, at least 50 times. At least 50 times, man. And the majority of those times, man, I knew that these women had husbands, man. I knew it. And I was just in that mind frame where that's the one thing, man. That's the one thing, man, that has me the most paranoid. You understand? Because I did that a few times, man, and knew what I was doing. I'm not talking about before I knew the word. I'm talking about, man, I did that a few times, man, and knew what I was doing. You know, and I think that one is my particular vice. That's the one I have to avoid the most because married women still come at me now. All the time. All the time. And I'm talking about bad married chicks, man. And of course they're normally married to the prototypical simp. And so I could have them if I wanted them with ease. Like they're throwing themselves at me. I could. But I just have to look at the fact that no matter how tempting it is, man, my fear is that if I cross that line again, I might die from AIDS or something, man. Like, I ain't talking about like get HIV and die 20 years from now. I'm talking about easy E. Look healthy one day, be dead in 2 weeks. That's what I'm talking about. And I think about that, man, and I just have to make sure, man, that I keep myself out of situations where Satan can get the upper hand on me. Because I'm still human. I'm human. And if I put myself in the wrong situation, Satan can get the upper hand on me. And if he gets the upper hand on me, then God is not going to come rescue me out of that because I know better than to put myself in that situation where Satan has the upper hand on me. Here's the thing about becoming wiser. God expects you to use your wisdom. He's not going to come bail you out of a situation where you had the wisdom to avoid the situation. It's kind of like with Samson. You saw many times Samson woke up, left and beat, and y'all can't kill me. I'm Samson. Went to sleep again. Aha, look at me. Y'all can't beat me. I'm Samson. Went to sleep again. Ha ha, you Philistines thought you were going to get me this time. I'll kill another 1,000 of you with a donkey jawbone. I'm Samson. You can't beat me. He had the wisdom to know the energy of his woman. He had the wisdom to know the Jezebel spirit of his woman. But he put himself in a situation where Satan, through his woman, could get the upper hand on him. And when Satan got the upper hand on him, what did he do? My strength is in my hair. Got him. Cut his hair. Aha, I'm Samson. You can't beat me. It was over. It was done. And here's the thing. He was so out of touch with God that he knew his strength was his hair. The woman had cut his hair off, and he was so out of tune with God and the reality of who he is and self-awareness that he still jumped up, even with his hair gone, and thought he was the same man. That's when you put yourself in a situation where you think it's you, but not God. Many men out here think it's them, but not God. Some men who understand having a relationship with God, they think it's them, not God. But that's unrealistic. That's unrealistic. I've done a lot of things, man. I shot at folks, been shot at. I'll leave that at that. I've robbed folks. I've lied and deceived. I put a woman in a situation where she was emotionally caught up with me, all the way caught up, knowing that I didn't want her that way. And I let her give all of herself to me, knowing that I didn't want her that way. That's deceit. That's not what a godly man does. No more than you want God to take you for granted, no more than you take God for granted. You can't take, if you know women are emotional, why are you taking women's emotions for granted? You know that's all they have. If you destroy a woman's emotions, you have destroyed the woman. All she has is her emotions. If somebody takes all of your money, then how you gonna feel? I just read a story, man, about a dude who had his Bitcoin tied up into, he was using his Bitcoin on the Apple Store, messed around, downloaded the app from the Apple Store, wiped out his Bitcoin, man. He had Bitcoin worth $600,000, man. Cleaned him out. Guarantee that man doesn't feel like himself. The multiple reprieves that I've received from God are more than I deserve. God has already given me more mercy than I deserve. He's already giving you more mercy than you deserve. He's already giving you more chances than you deserve. And still we're here. We're here. But we must keep in mind that the punishment of God is as exacting as is his mercy. I appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. Just wanted to come in here, man, and talk about this thing, man, because I've been getting a bit of temptation here, man, recently, and via my particular vice. I'm getting some serious temptation from married women, man. So, I'm standing on it, man, and I'm standing in one accord, man, with the will of God, man. But y'all keep me in your prayers, man, cause Satan throwing them from all different angles right now, man. It's it's popping up on me everywhere, and what that means is I know that there's a blessing coming my way. There's a major blessing coming my way, and Satan's trying to throw me off. He's trying to put me in a position or guide me into, or bait me into putting myself in a position where those blessings don't come my way. This is what he does. Whenever Satan is really on the attack, you have a blessing coming your way, and he's trying to pull you away from it. He's trying to, and he's very crafty. Man, listen, the temptation is so great, it almost seems perfect, but it can't be perfect because there's sin attached to it. It doesn't matter how perfect the temptation seems. It doesn't matter how perfect the scenario seems. If there is sin attached to it, it is the most imperfect thing you could do. The most imperfect thing you can do. Kevin Carter, appreciate the $5 super chat, bro. May your spiritual work for God be blessed. Salute to you, brother. I appreciate that. The Jag Music Channel, appreciate the $4 super chat. Can you please leave this up to share? Peace. The King Ray Ray live streams always stay up, bro. B Ross, appreciate the $5 super chat, man. So I got some pretty bad weather going on outside, man. So, I just want to say that, man. Man, y'all stay prayed up, man, and let's stay prayed up for one another, because we understand the obstacles that we're facing out here, and you got all the people who are against what you're doing, who want to see you fall, and Satan uses their energy to attack you as well. So that's why I call my haters my haters, You can't have my haters. I want my haters to myself. Go get your own haters. Even if one of my haters hate you, it's still my hater. Big Rich, salute, bro. And I just want y'all, man, to stay focused, man, on the will of God in your lives, man, and just stand with God, man, and let Him do His thing. If you stand with God, He will do His thing, but you got to stand with it. Because, like I tell everyone I know, God is merciful if you'll let Him be, but He'll punish you severely if He has to. God-fearing warrior, appreciate the $5 super chat. Stay strong, Doc. Much respect to you. Salute to you, brother. My squad, I appreciate y'all being in the building, man. SJ3, D. Flemings, Big Rich. I appreciate Golden Child as well. I appreciate y'all being in the building, man. It's been real in the field, man. And you know what, man? We're gonna start coming in doing this early morning King Ray Ray thing, man. Let's make this a staple, man. You know, I can always get up and do this time of morning, man. It'll probably be earlier. On some days, it'll probably be 7, but it'll be early morning nonetheless, man. So, you know, whether y'all in here live or not, it'll stay up so y'all can listen to it throughout the day. So let's get ready to head on out of here, man. I appreciate everybody being in the joint, man. Y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing. And stay girded, man, with the armor protection of God by living your life in a way that's pleasing to God, man. Salute.